Every year, you have a choice. One that says staying independent and family-owned means something on your farm. So plant your independence. Plant Wyffels.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Inside Zone presented by our friends Wyffels Hybrids. Myself, Remy, and Noel made it back from Kansas City today. Jirehl, enjoyed your weekend in Ames?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say enjoyed, but I definitely don't feel like going to the game would have been a good idea for me.
Yeah, it wasn't very fun.
Yeah.
And this week I can't hide from it back.
Fun,
Oh yeah, I can't see it was a bust.
Kansas
Last week I was in
time.
the air right now. I could hide from the the dreadful
Yeah, welcome. Welcome
After
back.
Lost podcast. And I'm back. So let's do it.
I'm gonna put everything on Remy today just because
I know.
didn't have to go through talking
I got
about the bad last
The
week.
past
Yeah,
last
now,
week.
All the
I
hard
know.
questions for Remy.
Maybe in a way we can blame it on Remy that we lost yesterday because they were like, oh, Remy didn't have to talk about an L. Let's give him one.
Right. Yeah. I figured this might be coming. So
Other than the game, did you guys have a nice time in Kansas City?
oh yeah, it was a blast. I mean, I love Kansas City. It's fun. So all in all, a good time.
Yeah, it's always good to go down to Kansas City with that bunch of Iowa State fans and reconnect over the love of the Cyclones.
How'd you
Sounds
guys
like
have-
two guys that don't remember what happened in Kansas City. It just sounds like, well, what kind of answer is that? Come on. I want to know what happened down there.
I should have said Aiden in the video of me riding the bull at PBR.
See,
Oh.
look,
I kinda killed
what
it.
I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. I actually did pretty well. I was kind of impressed with my performance.
How long would you say
Yeah.
you lasted?
I think Mason Skovegard had me down for like 52 seconds, I think.
Oh,
Oh my
that's
God.
impressive.
Yeah.
That's longer than 8. You won the competition.
Hey, let's go. Winners win.
At least someone won. in
Yep,
Kansas
that's
City.
the best win of the weekend right there.
Oh, Iowa State lost 36-45 to Kansas. They are officially out of the AP poll, but they did receive 96 votes. So,
I guess that's a win.
yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of those things where it's like when you lost, like say we lost 2 games earlier and then we won 7 games, like we won the last game. It's just when you lost, it's not our record that made us go out of the poll, but it
Right.
still is kind of disappointing to be out of there.
I
I'm
thought
gonna-
they'd come in
I'm-
at 25.
Yeah. I feel like that loss isn't as bad as like what it looks like. When you put it into a computer system, I feel like that loss looks way worse than what it actually was based off of that team that we actually played versus their record.
Mm-hmm.
No, I
2
agree.
in a row looks bad though.
2 in a row looks bad, but at the same time, I knew it at least. I think a lot of people knew that Kansas has a really good football team. They just unfortunately have kind of got the short end of the stick for most of the year. But I knew that they had the quarterback, the running back. I actually did know that their O-line was pretty good as well. So I mean, they had a good football team at the end of the day.
Yeah, a team in Kansas that before playing us was plus 48 in point differential on the year, and they were a 2-6 team. So like you don't really find that most of the time. 2-6 teams are usually in the negative in point differential, and that's a team that's only like all of their losses have been within one score. So a team that's been waiting to go out there and put up a performance like that on display, and they certainly did against us.
Yeah, for sure. I think playing Iowa State as a Kansas fan player, it's kind of a rivalry a little bit.
Yeah.
Bordering states, basketball games are always really good. So most of the time fans know like people that like Kansas, and Kansas fans know Iowa State fans. So it does make it a little more difficult when it's for sure has some stakes like that.
One interesting thing that I saw on the TV copy was that Kansas has 5 blown fourth quarter leads, most in the FBS, and 4 of them were in the final 2 minutes. So Kansas has played in a lot of football games. You talk about that like plus 48 point differential. That's a crazy stat to think that they've lost 7 games and they've still ahead by 48 points.
Yeah, I remember our 2022 year was kind of the same thing. We had, a couple fourth quarter losses where, you can win that game. And, as a player, that's really hard when you're in every single game, that you can win every single game and you're just not getting the results. So, that puts on some motivation to just go out and try to get a win. And that's what they did.
Well, and Aiden might have to double check this, but I think that's now 4 straight they've lost to Kansas in Arrowhead. Or not Arrowhead, but in their territory, I should say.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You might have to double check that for me, Aiden, but I think it's in the post-game notes.
I remember when Hakeem had that one catch and threw that dude back. That was the last time we won there. That was 2019. That was 18.
Or 18, yeah, 18.
That was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've run 3 times in a row.
Right. Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, they've beat us 3 times in a row, I guess.
Oh, I think it's funny how it says Lawrence, Kansas as the location for yesterday's game.
Well, that's where it wasn't. I think, I don't know.
No, yeah, I thought it was fun playing in Arrowhead though. I mean, that was quite the treat as a fan to watch your team playing a stadium that's really famous at this point. The Chiefs are obviously who the Chiefs are right now, so it's cool to see them playing with their logo on the field. So I thought that was pretty cool. If I was a player, I thought that'd be sweet. I think that would, if you're a senior, I think that's the 4th NFL stadium you'd play at Iowa State. I believe it'd be Las Vegas, the Cardinals for the Fiesta Bowl, Jerry's World for the Big 12 championship, and now Arrowhead, which that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
I thought 3 was fun.
Well, I hate the Chiefs, so I loved being able to say I was on the sideline of another NFL stadium, but I hated walking around, seeing all their stuff everywhere. Their photo room has all of these awesome pictures their photographers have taken, but I hate them all. And I can also talk crap about their scoreboard. I hate that thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that thing. That's just weird.
Their game day experience has increased significantly from the last time I went to play a Kansas team when there was no fans there. It was a 2-1 Iowa State to Kansas fan ratio and prior. So Kansas has definitely turned it around a little bit.
Yeah, I actually, before we obviously jump into the football stuff, I was really impressed with their band and the little tunnel they made for their team to come out into. I thought that was all really cool. And I was very impressed with the fans that they had show up based on just social media. It made it seem like Kansas fans weren't going to show up, especially when you start throwing out 50% off tickets to get fans to show up. So,
right.
Man. If I see a deal, I'm going.
What a deal that is, yeah.
Imagine, hey guys, 50% off to go to a game at Jack Trice.
I'd be like, yeah, sign me up. I think you could literally say that about any single college football game. The Drake Bulldogs, 50% off. Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, man, let's go. Let's go watch some football.
All right, let's get into the game.
Oh, Lord.
Ugh.
I was trying to avoid that, but
yeah, I thought we were on a good path there.
We're having a good time.
It, so
having a good time. Well,
I suppose we should though.
Yep, there's a football game. So looking at the game, obviously, I don't know how you guys want to approach it. We can start with offense, which is where I was going to start, and just open it to the room. What the heck is going on? Offensive line, good place to start. Kansas put on a lot of pressure. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think that's you can kind of tell now that defensive coordinators across our league obviously can see that we are not great at handling pressure. And I believe it started the UCF game when they really blitzed us. And so, yeah, I mean, blitzes are hard at the end of the day. Now, let me see. So during a game, right, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. Like during a game, sometimes you can see things from the stands or on TV that are a little easier to see than in the game. Obviously, as an O-lineman, you're trying to look at safeties and rotation and to try to pick that thing up. But you also have another guy standing right in front of you, and you have to kind of be prepared. So as a general O-line statement, I think we are okay. I wouldn't say, we have regressed in any way, but we certainly have, I believe, kind of hit a plateau. We're not seeing a ton of growth week in and week out. Our rushing yards weren't great yesterday. Now, obviously, there are a couple plays that looked really well, but I think we're kind of at a plateau there. So it's not great, but we're still kind of young on the O-line. We have a new left tackle who just transferred, so he's still in a new system technically, which he's been playing really well. If you like offensive line play, number 72 on the left side there he's a good player. So that's kind of where my thoughts sit right now with the offensive line. Is it glaring issues? I would say no, but it's just kind of at a plateau right now. So
yeah, I agree with you there, Rem. I feel like a lot of stuff is just on offensive side of the ball is becoming. I don't know how to properly say this, but I feel like we're not playing great team football on offense and defense. So it's kind of making things seem more severe probably than what they actually are, drawing more attention to things that maybe aren't as big or as way far off as what it may feel like. So I feel like just with the style of football that Iowa State has played, where defense has been just rock solid over the last 5-6 years for Iowa State. When we get into a shootout and give up the second most yards that we've ever given up in the Matt Campbell era to a team, things just kind of feel you're looking for answers. But teams certainly have continued to bring pressure against Iowa State O-line, which certainly has shown that it does give some fits. So I'm with Remy. I don't feel like it's something that we've regressed at all. I really do think it's an area that when we play better team football, everything's going to come together a little bit better, and we'll really see this offense continue to grow.
One point I have about just the game cycle and game management is when you're on offense and you kind of feel like you have to pick it up a little bit. The defense can't get a stop. It changes your playbook. It changes your game plan. Now you have to go out and try to throw the ball all day. And, as a defense, it's pretty easy when hey, we're up 3 scores. So they're probably going to try to pass it. Like, kind of just makes it hard as an offense as a whole. Because you don't feel like you're getting your, what you want accomplished each drive from your game plan. You have to go out there and pass the ball all over the place. So that is really difficult, especially on an offensive coordinator, coaches, players. When you're on the sidelines and you need some points, and it's just added pressure that can throw off things. But honestly, I thought we played on offense. We got it going, especially in the second half, which is really cool to see. I mean, we have some players on our offense who are just Jaylin and Jaden, and they're just magnificent players, and they're so much fun to watch, and which is really cool.
One thing to me that was kind of interesting is I really did. I mean, we start off that game, we get the stop, go down 99 yards. We're moving guys on the offensive line. We're doing all this. We're looking explosive. Big touchdown to Jaylin. And then it's all of a sudden like kind of what we've talked a lot about is like if Iowa State gets a 2-point lead, our defense is suffocating. Well, all of a sudden, hey, what happens? Iowa State's down 21 points or whatever we got to there at the end of the first half. All of a sudden, we have to not be able to, pound the rock in the run game, and we're having to, change the game plan, and then nothing's going to look as efficient as what it was when you're able to stay ahead of the sticks and things like that.
Yeah, it's really hard for an offense to do anything when a defense can just dig their cleats into the ground and just, not even have to worry about the run game. they're expecting pass all the time. DB's eyes don't have to stay in the backfield so long; they could just stay right on the receiver. Defensive coordinators can just draw up the craziest blitzes and come at you from every different way. So it's really hard when you get yourself in pass only territory and pass only spots in the game, because we are a team that really likes to run the pass. Bring the linebackers, bring the safeties down, shots over top. Our red zone offense hasn't been the best this year. Really, the plays that we do score on are big plays, shot plays. It's like 30 plus yard plays, 20 plus yard plays. We're not very good in the tight zone of the end zone, the red zone, I guess. So, those when we can't run the ball, we have to just sit there and pass, and you get to where you have to throw curls and slants and stuff like that, and those are hard routes to throw for a quarterback because they're timing throws. Those are hard catches to make for wide receivers because they're across the middle of the field. You can't see where the defender is coming, and they're plays that have to be made, but they're just hard plays to make sometimes, and you can get yourself behind real quick while doing that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jirehl. I think, red zone offense, specifically within the 10-yard line, at least the past couple of weeks, has not been great. For sure, something that we can look to clean up here. Another point I want to make, though, is one of my favorite football concepts is the play action pass. Like, it just sets up, a lot of different things on offense. You get those linebackers, those corner safeties thinking a little bit on each play. But when you're in a game like that, that's pretty much out of the window. The opposing team probably tells their players, we don't care if they run the ball. We're up, 2 scores, 3 scores. So play the pass all the time. And when you're in a tight game, or maybe when the defense is losing, they have to play both, right? So it takes out a whole kind of play structure that I think is really valuable. It just keeps defenses honest. And when you don't have the ability to do stuff like that, it shrinks your playbook, and it can make things a lot harder.
What do you guys think kind of flipped? The UCF game, obviously, or not even the UCF, I guess I should just say, looking at Texas Tech, what do you think kind of flipped the switch to where Iowa State now is not winning the games and they're kind of falling short? Like, what do you think is contributing to this?
We're beat up, and either we're beat up or something's wrong, because we look beat up. There's a physicality standpoint where we're just we're not getting pressure on the quarterback. We're not stopping people from getting pressure on our quarterback. Those are two. I feel like I'm a record on repeat saying that, like, the trenches is where we're just losing right now. And I don't know. It's just physicality just hasn't been there, I don't think. I don't know. What do you guys see from just looking at it from a offensive line and even a defensive line standpoint, just from going up against defensive linemen all the time?
I think that we're really beat up. Not having Dom Morge out there, Blake Verdon goes down. Obviously, we know the situation at linebacker. There's just so many guys on that defense that are beat up, and truthfully, that's just hard. You know what I mean? I feel like we have one of the deepest teams we've had in Iowa State in quite a while, with the fact that we've been able to go out there and still be competitive in these games with third, fourth string guys. But at the end of the day, we're a beat up team. No Bramer again this week. Tyler Moore goes down on offense at tight end. Burkle gets beat up. He does come back in the game. So that tight end position is about as after those injuries there, there's as thin as any group that we got on the team, and that's a huge part that obviously Coach Mauser takes advantage of. So that's just something that it's just making us tough. But to your point, first and second down on both sides of the ball. I know someone in the press conference asked Coach Campbell hey, what's lack of pressure on the quarterback? Well, it's pretty tough to get pressure on the quarterback when it's 2nd and 1, 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3. Kansas was 7 of 13 on 3rd down. Iowa State was 4 of 11. We were in long 3rd downs. Kansas was in short 3rd downs. They could run and pass. Iowa State was forced into some of those situations where they could, tee off and rush a quarterback. So Iowa State being able to stop the run and be efficient on 1st down on defense and get them in 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, whatever it may be. And then all offensively being able to say, hey, we're in 2nd and 5. The whole playbook's open. We can take a shot. We can run the ball. And go out there and keep this offense on the field, and then get the offense on the field when defense is up.
Yeah, I remember when we played, we were preached, efficiency on 1st and 2nd down, and it's a huge point for coaching staffs is because Newell's right. Like if you get 2nd and 5, like you just have so much more ability to do things instead of 2nd and long. And I think Campbell is right. Like Kansas did really well on 1st down against us, which is a credit to them. I think they were, I forget what they were averaging per play for a while there. It's like 13 or something. I don't know. But unfortunately, I have kind of figured, this would come with our injuries, where we just, we looked so beat up yesterday, like not a lot of juice. I mean, I'm sure these guys aren't getting, our linebacker core. Like, I don't think they're getting much break in the game at all. And that can be hard. But early on, and this year we talked about in here. Our biggest opponent is going to be injuries. And when we start to see guys, go down, you kind of think in the back of your head, you're like, how long can we hold on with such little depth behind the guys that are playing? Now that everyone's injured, but it will be interesting to see, continue if we get anyone back here in the next couple of weeks. Obviously don't know like statuses for like a Bramer or anything, or at the same time too, it's more than just the guys you see not suited up. I'm sure lots of those guys are battling through injuries and they're still playing. And that's really hard. I mean, you're working so hard throughout the week just to make it to Saturday, and it can be exhausting. So the injury bug, it's killer.
So when you look at the defense, who obviously has a lot going on, where does Iowa State go from here then? Are we just going to hold our breaths and see how good they feel on Saturday? Does it ultimately all revolve around the injuries, or do you guys think they could still rally back? I mean, there's 3 games left.
I think that they've made some changes. I mean, we saw some 4-down defense, which in my time at Iowa State, we really never saw anything. So I don't know if that's a good thing. I think that's being able to say, hey, like, we know the battle we have, and it's, we got to get the best 11 guys on the field that we can. So if that means playing some 4-down defense and doing that, I think they're doing whatever they can to make sure that they adapt and put guys in positions to win. Because truthfully, at Iowa State, when we were there, I mean, we never even really saw Iowa State install a 4-down defense or play a 4-down defense. So us seeing that, I feel like is kind of a sign that, hey, we need to figure out our best 11 and get those guys on the field.
The one thing I'll say, which I think you could be viewed as a positive, but also a negative. It looked like we had a lot of MAs out there on defense yesterday. When I say MA, I mean missed assignment. It just looked like, a couple times guys weren't where they were supposed to be. Or there's a lack of communication regarding like zones and areas and stuff like that. So that could be positive in one way, and it's because you can fix those things. You obviously can't magically just fix injuries and depth and stuff like that. But MAs, as bad as they are on a Saturday, there can be growth, and you can learn from those. And it's not like a lack of skill, I would say. It's just a lack of attention to detail. I'm sure I didn't watch all the interviews after the game, but I'm sure detail and was one of the main common words on offense and defense. So those are the things you can look at as a positive. Like I don't think it's a lack of skill by any means. Actually, I know it's not. It might just be, those little detail things, the missed assignments and stuff like that, which you can grow from and continue to grow from.
Yeah. I mean, and like Jake said, like you can grow when you can grow on those things, you can look at yourself and be like, okay, we should have won that game. I just got to be better. Like on the touchdown that they had to one wide receiver that was killing us all day. I don't know. Skinner, I think was his last name.
Yep.
We brought a corner blitz, and our safety was supposed to be over top. Young safety, he'll learn. You hate that it happens in that way, like where he gives up a touchdown like that. But that's something that you learn from. Misassignment, just don't let it happen again. It's not something like, oh, I was there, but he just was better than me. Like it's something where you can be like, okay, I can just fix that. I can wipe that touchdown away in my head, really.
And that was in Malik Verdon's spot when he went out for injury. So a depth thing for sure.
Right. Malik, he's like, what is he? It's like a wrist or something. He's got a full-on cast on his arm.
Yeah.
I don't know. That does not look like it's fun to play with when you have a big cast on your arm.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You're right. I remember seeing when I noticed it, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
When did that get
Well,
there?
like Miles has had one on too.
Yeah.
I think his could be off now. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but yeah, Malik had one on too. I think that's all like wrist stuff. That's what happens when you-
I remember in spring ball, I think it was last year, I broke my finger and I had to play the whole spring ball. It was like the second practice with a club on. Like they fully wrapped my hand. Like I didn't have any fingers. I was trying to block people. So this is like,
that.
it's awful.
Yeah, that changes the game.
Just, if playing your game too is all about comfort. Like the old cliche saying, look good, feel good, play good. Like that's a real thing. Promise.
No, for real.
If you go out there and you feel good about yourself, you look good, you're confident, you might play well. When you're going to practice with a club on your hand, there's not a lot of confidence in that. It's not fun.
Especially on the line.
Oh yeah. O-line, you gotta find as much swagger as you can on the O-line, I think. Because you don't got a lot of other swagger, do you? So
Derek Swagger.
Well, I feel like that's a good way to bring up the question I had for you guys in terms of just, I mean, you guys have been players. You've been on the sidelines. You've been in the games. You've experienced the losses. Obviously, fans don't have that same experience, so they're angry. Obviously, you get on Twitter and you scroll, people were full meltdown mode after a loss like that, which understandable. It's not fun. No one expected that type of game to go down. What are some things that maybe, fans don't understand or get to see that maybe the players are experiencing in that moment? I mean, you talked about how if you don't feel great and you're battling and you're playing through these minor injuries, maybe, talk about what that's like. Talk about that perspective. And even now that you guys aren't on the sidelines, what was it like yesterday when you were leaving the game?
Well, first and foremost, no one wants to win the game more than the players. Okay. Like, let's get that straight. Like, there's like, and even now as a fan, I'm like, I'm I can get mad, but like, I can't get mad at the players because like, I know that they want to win the game more than I even want them to win the game. So like and living through that experience, like that makes me as a fan understand that it's hard to, and being a fan now, I realize why fans are kind of the way that they are, but you got to realize that those are 18 to 24-year-old young men that work every day from the day that they get on campus to the day that they leave just to go out there and play a game to bring excitement and joy to all the fans out, like all the Iowa State fans. So any like slander or anything like that, they don't deserve. Let's get that straight. But as a fan, I mean, it's hard to watch, and obviously you expect to win that game, but it's football for a reason. If the person that was supposed to win every game won every game, then what kind of sport would this be?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Jirehl. Obviously the players hurt more than anyone, and I don't, really care how big of a fan you are of a sports team. The guys putting in the work. At the end of the day, that's what hurts them the most. You put in work, Tuesday practice, Wednesday practice, film, extra film, treatment, eating right. All these things that lead to trying to win a game between 2:30 and 6 o'clock at night. So many hours for it's 4 quarters, and so that's what really hurts. As a fan, I was not happy myself either, but Jirehl does got a good point there. The one thing that can be kind of hard with where Iowa State is at right now, and this is a challenge to every team in the country, is where does your team go after you're kind of out of contention of the big stuff, the college football playoff, the Big 12 championship? How does your team respond to that? And my thing was always I was a big a rally cry guy, so if I was on the team currently, I would come out to practice on Tuesday so fired up, getting the guys going, because at the end of the day, I don't care if you're 1-6 or Kansas case 2-6 going into that game. Winning football games is a lot of fun, especially as a player. So I don't, at the end of the day, your record, you can put that away. It's about winning football games, and that's what's fun. That's what you put in all this work for. Obviously you want to do, the Big 12 championship, the college football playoff. And unfortunately, only 12 teams out of, so many Division I football teams get the opportunity to play in the college football playoff, and only, 2 teams get to play in the Big 12 championship for the Big 12 conference. So it's all about the response. And so that's what I'll be looking forward to. I'm sure we'll talk about Cincinnati here coming up a little bit, but they kind of got a blueprint for a whole program now that they have Coach Vi as their DC. So there's just a lot of things that it's gonna be a tough football game on Saturday too. I saw the spread already, and I was like, whoa. I was kind of shocked. I forget what it was, but it was a good line, and it's gonna still be a tough game. Every game's a tough game.
Yeah, I 100% agree there. I think those guys are hurting right now. Obviously, everything was so high for them. Everything was going well. So started off 7-0, set some school history, things like that. And it's adversity now, right? Couple people get banged up, but I think that there's such good leadership on this team. I mean, a lot of these guys that are seniors now came in as young guys, and you could see what they had in them when they were young. Right, you get guys like Jaylin, Noel, who are going out there and as seniors, they're playing their best football. So not always being vocal, but being leaders by example. But you guys got guys like Bo, who these guys have all played a lot of football and are really good dudes that people certainly are going to look up to. Hey, how are they going to go out and practice? Clearly, they're still going out and working their butt off because they're still playing the best football of their career. So I think that's something that certainly does show Iowa State is going to continue to progress. They can still win 10 football games this year, which is an incredible accomplishment at Iowa State University, right? So, it's been a tough any school. It's been some adversity these last 2 weeks, but there's no better group of coordinators, head coach. Everyone in that locker room still believes in each other. And I have no doubt that they're going to go to war for each other on Saturday.
Yeah, that's a good point, Noel. I it's funny thinking about you're always so focused on your team and how your team's doing, but you can look across the country. Like, think about how Michigan feels right now. Like, probably not great, right? I don't even know the record. It might be, I don't even know, but that's Michigan. That's a top dog in college football. They recruit well. They throw a lot of money into their football program, and they're not winning a ton of football games right now. I get it. They lost, their coach or whatever, most of their players, but it's hard to win football games. And so
you can look at Oklahoma State this year.
100%.
man.
Same case.
Projected to be world beaters. Kansas was projected to be world beaters. And they're sitting at
Utah.
3-6.
I
Utah.
mean, we were just looking at the Big 12
Utah's-
ranking, just seeing kind of how that's flipped. It's kind of like it's kind of funny, but
the margin for errors is so small. So small.
Oh, it's the preseason.
Yep. And it's not even just the Big 12. Like it's all over the country where we're seeing just some unprecedented wins.
Alabama, Georgia have both had more losses than they've had in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. That's what makes college football so fun. I mean, anyone.
And Florida State's 1-9.
Exactly.
Just fired their OC and DC. Crazy.
It's nuts.
Crazy world of college football we live in nowadays.
That is correct.
So before we get into Cincinnati, and I do want to talk about Jaylin Noel just a little more, I want to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, Wyffels Hybrids, where commitment and excellence is tailored for corn hybrids. Wyffels Hybrids understands what Midwestern farmers need to succeed with products bred specifically for the region's fields and conditions. And as I always love to say, they are literally Cyclones supporting Cyclones. So no better people to work with. You can learn all about everything they have to deliver. They're a family-owned company. Just go over to wyffels.com. It's spelled WYFFELS.com. Like I said, great people, huge Cyclone supporters, no better people to do business with. And of course, we also have our program sponsored by the Ivy College of Business at Iowa State University, where future business leaders are made. So if you are interested in a future in business, no better place to go than the Ivy College of Business, which offers tons of awesome programs. They have a fantastic faculty and a huge commitment to innovation. So get your degree at Iowa State.
Do you just do the W with your fingers, Jirehl? How do you do that? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mine doesn't look like a W, though.
People who
Why
are
not?
watching the feed are going to be so confused.
Double W for Wyffels. Shout out
You
Wyffels.
gotta, I don't know. Try not to bend your finger so much. Try to get it right behind it.
Oh. Shout out Wyffels.
Shout out Wyffels.
Oh, what would we do without you, Remy? So I want to give love to Jaylin Noel because he was a bright spot yesterday for sure. We talked about Iowa State not scoring first at the beginning of games, and they did it this time. Jaylin Noel. So let me read you this list of what Jaylin Noel did yesterday. He tied a career high in receptions with 8 for the 6th time in his career. Finished with a career high 167 yards receiving. He caught a pass in his 41st straight game, the 2nd longest streak in school history, and the 4th longest active streak in the nation. Recorded his 7th career 100-yard receiving game, the 7th most in program history, and caught 2 touchdown passes for the 4th time in his career and the 1st time this season.
Wow.
And
Yeah, no, he's a dog. Yeah, I was about to say homecoming for him.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to go off, man.
And he's a Chiefs fan, so him playing in Arrowhead is like crazy. Oh,
I'm
I
sure
didn't
he
know
was
he was a
nuts.
Chiefs fan. Oh, that's
Oh,
so
yeah.
fun.
he's a huge Chiefs
Huge Chiefs fan.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I knew he.
I was happy for him.
I was happy for him too. I'm pretty sure he used like all the tickets for the player tickets.
Oh yeah,
I think he took every single one of them.
That's awesome.
But no, what a career he's had and continues to have. It was so fun playing with him. He's a hard worker. He's fun. Great locker room guy. People don't realize, how when you have a player like that, that's that good, and he's a good locker room guy. What a difference that is for your football team, because he's a player can that good can maybe not be a good locker room guy, and it's hard to play with guys like that when they think they're everything and they're the whole program, stuff like that. But that dude's just down to earth, great guy. He's probably one of their best leaders, like we were talking about earlier on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So to see him and what he's put into the Iowa State football program, his legacy will carry on far beyond his years on the field.
I think another thing to point out is it's cool to see, like, he's a guy who played a lot of snaps early, and every single year he's gotten better. every single year he's become more dynamic. He's, become more of a leader. And like Jake said, no one's surprised by that. That knows the guy. But there's a lot of guys that like to continue to grow every single year is something that's really incredible. And that's a huge compliment to how hard he works and the man he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Huge testament to who he is. I know his mom. His mom's a really nice lady. Obviously raised a great son. He even has a little brother that looks just like him too. Literally just like him. But great family. He's newly engaged. So great dude. Love the guy. Definitely touched by God. Athletically wise, and just as a human, just all around great person, and the success that's gonna come to him in the future. Not there couldn't be a more deserving person than Jaylin Noel.
I think you're missing something too, Jirehl.
Oh yeah, my barber.
There it is.
Long time my barber.
There it is.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Long time my barber until I just went bald. So now I cut my own hair. Yeah. He was definitely my barber in school for sure.
How's the bald life treating you, dude?
It's definitely a little breezy.
Right. What does it feel like in the shower? Do you still try to put shampoo on and
Wait a minute,
wash your hair?
Pause. Don't ever ask a man about the shower, bro. What's up with you, bro?
I'm serious. Do you still put shampoo on? And sometimes you're like, oh, I forgot I don't have any hair up there.
No, I wasn't the biggest on shampoo in my hair. Oh, well, like Cantu and stuff like that. No, I don't use it. I don't use it anymore, bro. I just run some water on it and say it's a good day.
Do you put moisturizer on it?
No.
Oh.
I'll put well, I mean, if I get it like actually, why are we talking about my hair and what I use on it right now?
We get distracted sometimes. At least I do. Sorry.
It's all right.
Back to your scheduled programming.
We need comedic relief.
Especially on a week like this, man.
Yeah.
Gotta wait another week, bro. And that's the worst part. You gotta wait another week to get 2 L's like off your mind. Yeah, like
it's tough.
I don't know. It's just
I feel like in
hard.
I feel like in the program this is a bigger game too, because a lot of these guys were like no coach fight who's going out and calling the defense for Cincinnati too. Like he knows everything about these players. He knows everything about how Iowa State program operates. He knows the ins and outs of our defense. That he's going to be able to bring a lot of knowledge to competing against Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
I think it said that they were like Iowa State's favored. I think Aiden, please correct me. I think 7.5. I think is what CETA tweeted.
Yeah, I saw it.
Did Cincinnati beat West Virginia? Is that who they played
look it up
yesterday? I'm pretty sure they.
Curious to see how
their quarterback threw. I was watching the beginning of the game.
I remember Cincinnati had a couple dudes on their D line last year. I think one of them got hurt. But I think they're a good team.
Yep.
7.5. That's a line. They lost to West Virginia by a score. Lost to Colorado by 11. Beat Arizona State. Lost to Texas Tech by 3. Just another team that you look at their schedule and you're like, this team could be the complete opposite direction. A couple one-score losses. It's not like they're a bad team at all.
I think I know who you're talking about on their D line. Bro, big dude. Big dude. Big dude.
Corleone. Oh yeah,
he's huge. He's huge.
He's
he can fill up like 3 holes.
Strong.
And he's hurt.
He's gonna fill up like 3 gaps.
I believe he's hurt. I don't know. They call him the Godfather, and last year at Cincinnati when we played him, he would get announced as the Godfather.
Oh wow!
He'd be like the announcer, the PA announcer would be like another tackle by Dante, the Godfather Corleone.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a real deal.
It's like what we do with the Rob Energy.
Oh yeah, Big Rob, Big Rob Energy,
Big Rob Energy.
That's true.
Well, I used to do like Brees,
the Beast.
Oh yeah. Oh,
they didn't do that, did they?
I know, but that would have been cool.
That would be cool. I was repping my Brees Hall shirt yesterday.
I saw that. I was going to say, where'd you get it? Send the link.
I just got it online. Found it. I was like, that's a cool shirt. Saw Charlie Kolar. He was there. That was good to see him. Yeah, there's a lot of ex football players down there, which is cool to see a lot of guys.
They got a good win on Thursday.
Yeah,
against the Bengals. Niners won today. Good word.
Are we still just avoiding the topic of yesterday? I think we are.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Well, tomorrow will be a new week.
A new week.
New week, new opportunity new opportunity to go out there and play a complete football game.
Another night game.
Isn't this the Chili Bowl too?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the Chili Bowl?
Yeah, with like cinnamon roll in it or something.
Yeah,
like chili and cinnamon.
I remember it being a big deal last year, but
I saw it too.
No, I mean, Iowa State back to what we're here to talk about. Big week for them. It's a good week to just get back on track. And like I said earlier, winning football games, I don't care what your record is, it's always fun. And that's what you're going to look forward to doing, even when you're kind of out of contention of the things that you really wanted, your really end goals. But Campbell always said, at least he used to, that his goals for the team are not typical goals for how you'd look at things. His goals for the team are deeper and have more meaning than just playing in the Big 12 championship, which I think is which makes him such an effective leader. He's able to keep these guys with their heads straight, motivate them to go out and practice on Tuesday, and continue to possibly have the best Iowa State season ever. Continue to have that opportunity to do something that's never been done at this school. So there's so much opportunity left. At the end of the day, playing football with, I miss it like crazy. I miss Saturdays like crazy. I'd for sure go out there. Would love to, show up if my team was 0-8 and play just one more game with the fellas. So, so much to look forward to. And it's a new week. So hopefully we can bounce back here.
Crazy. It's crazy because we're talking about Iowa State, a 7-2 team. Like, when was the last time we were 7-2 and that wasn't a good thing? Right. Usually if we were 7-2 right now, we'd be ecstatic with 3 games left to play and still able to, we're talking kind of we're out of the Big 12. And I feel like the Big 12 title race, and that's because we have to depend on other teams to do what we need them to do. And that's not ever where you want to be. You kind of want to be in the position to control your own destiny. But there's been crazier things that have happened in college football. So all we have to do is just put our head down and continue to do what we need to do, and just hope for the best. Don't look on the other side of things, because then you'll lose sight of what you're doing. But once it gets to that point in time, you can look over and see if the teams that you needed to lose lost or stuff like that. So don't give up hope. You get in that Big 12 title game, you win it, you go to the college football playoff anyways. So
yeah, I think we got a lot to play for. I mean, obviously we know, hey, you can go out there and you can still win 10 football games this year. But there's such a good group of guys that they're going out there. They've brought a lot of energy to Iowa State fans this year. I think it's would be fitting if we sell it out Jack Trice again this week and go out and get a big time win, because there's some big games left for Iowa State.
I think it makes also a difference just the timing of our 2 losses. I think we would look at the spot we're in right now way differently if our 2 losses were,
big end of the year
in Kansas, or one of those earlier games in Kansas. I think we'd be talking totally different about where we are as a football team today than dropping back-to-back games, which makes it just a different perspective. But yeah, I would be curious, what we'd be saying if it was a situation like that, I bet we'd still be pretty positive about potentially making the Big 12 championship still. So, you just never know.
I think you're right on too with what how Coach Campbell leads to is he's going to be able to get these guys to motivated because it's not just about, hey, going out and winning football games, which obviously everyone wants to do. And that's a byproduct of the culture and how hard you work and everything. But Coach Campbell is going to be able to rally these guys to go out there and work their ass out this week in practice. And I have no doubt about that.
I know the assistant coaches are the same way too. Like, it's pretty easy, when you have an assistant coach that you can feel the pressure, from them. That's not fun. I've been there. And I do think they have a good group of assistant coaches that, can still, get these guys going and excited about game plans and excited about, Cincinnati.
Well, and I want to ask this, and you guys share what you're comfortable with, but you said Coach Campbell's goals are much more than just winning a championship or going and playing in the Big 12 championship. What are some of those goals? Like, what do they look like that makes them different?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones, and I'll just say one so you guys can kind of just chime on, but is to become the best version of yourself. Like throughout the year, like a team never really wants to peak at the beginning of the year because then throughout the year you'll kind of just digress and plateau, as Jake was kind of saying earlier with the offensive line. But you want to, every week kind of grow and to where you're playing your best football by the end of the year. Because as a team, you can look at yourself and say that we grew as a team, no matter what the record is or anything like that. If you're playing for like result based, I guess the record would matter to you. But as for Coach Campbell, he's more of a person that wants you to become the best version of yourself, no matter how long it takes to get there. Obviously, he would love to win, though, but he always just wants the young men to become the best version of themselves.
Yeah, it's a good point, Jirehl. I think that's his number one. Probably his philosophy is always, if you become the best version of yourself, those things will happen. Championships, confetti, banners, those will happen if you're truly getting better every single day. If you're maximizing your team's full potential, I think about potential. In Campbell's eyes, probably right now, there's a lot of positive. You have a lot of guys who probably wouldn't even scratch the football field this year, developing, learning, growing. And when the guys come back, Cale Bacon next year, he's Will McLaughlin, these other guys, it just takes your room to the next level. So I don't want to talk about next year already, but those are things like if you can develop a room and become the best linebacker room when everyone's back, man, that room is going to be scary. You can play 10 guys; they've all played. So those are the things that those are positives, and it's hard to see as a fan because you just look at the wins or the loss, which obviously everyone wants. Coach Campbell obviously wants to win. He's the biggest competitor I know. He hates losing. But he, in his eyes, I think at least, he has more things that, continue to drive our football program instead of wins and losses, if that makes sense.
Y'all said it. Competition in these rooms is
I'm not
is
sure
deep.
I understand.
Oh, sorry.
Competition level in these rooms are deep, and man, oh man, it's going to continue to be even deeper going forward. So a lot of dudes are getting opportunities. A lot of dudes are going out there and making big time plays with their moments, right? So be interesting to see if we get any guys back here over the last couple of weeks of the season and what type of impact they'll be able to make. But it's certainly been a fun season so far.
Lots of big games left. I think about our last, 3 games. Those are 3 tough games, especially, Utah, K-State, and obviously Cincinnati this week. You got to bring your best every single week, or you could easily be 7-5 at the end of this. So kind of put things in the past and, hope for the 10-win season.
Yeah. Great. Love it. Well, thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back as always to talk post Cincinnati. Hopefully, Cyclones come out on a better foot, but
I feel better after this. It's like therapy.
Getting it all out.
Getting it
off
off your
chest.
chest.
On to a new week.
I feel ready to attack this week now. Every day.
Hopefully
attack it.
everyone feels the same way after they listen to the episode.
Sell
I'll
out
be
Jack
ready.
Rice.
Let's do
Yeah.
it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. And as always, shout out to Wyffels Hybrids.